Hello, everyone. Welcome to all of our future master teachers. It is so wonderful to be able to see all of you. This is the promised Zoom bomb that I was going to get at the first of hopefully many in this collaboration that I have going on with Dr. Gallo. And for transparency's sake, that is my brother. For those of you who know me, welcome, family. I'm so excited to see all of you. For those of you who are like, who is this lady? My name is Dr. Consuela Amos. And I am so excited to be able to embark on this very first collab with Dr. Gallo about, as you can see right here with this first announcement, hot off the press, new APA resource module. So, with that being said, we're going to dive into it. So, I'm clicking on modules. Right below getting started is the APA resources. This is designed to look exactly like all of the other modules with the overview and to-do list. Everything that's in the overview is actually right down here. Your first three PowerPoints, all of these are downloadable. And then here are the first is the outline that we used in Reach 50. And then we have the 5 paragraph APA template. And then next one is what I like to call the final reflection template. You can use both for, you can use one of these for both of the assignments, reflection papers and the final reflection. I just like the way the second one, the final reflection template, was actually set up. And I was like, you know what? We can graduate to the 5 to 7 sentences per paragraph. That's where we're graduating to. Some of us need a little help to get there, but that's okay. Now, for those of us in Reach 50 who were trying to get all of these resources downloaded, and it was so hard to do. The class went away before you got an opportunity to do it. No worries, this is now your chance. I really, looking in this module with the overview, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is this picture with these two little people at the start and the finish line. And in education, as in life, whenever we start something, we want to have the end in mind. What does this look like? What am I looking for my end product? That's going to tie into the thinking about thinking with metacognition, with Bloom's taxonomy, and the analysis process, and just that overview. But this is how we want to approach this. So, with this, I have this information and the resources that we need to be able to be great writers. Because I know you're like, OMG, I wrote one paper this summer and I struggled and I haven't written in forever. And now it seems like, the floodgates are open and all of these writing assignments are due this semester and I'm not a writer. Well, I'm going to clue you all into why I call you all future master teachers and how that's going to align with this new learning that we're doing in becoming writers. So, those of you who have had me for Reach 50, you know this story. But for those of you who haven't, as teachers, I call all of us future master teachers for a reason. And it's because I'm calling out, I'm saying to you what I expect you to be. And in education, and this is something I want you all to please, please, please look up. It's called self fulfillment prophecy, and it's meant to be something negative. Self fulfillment prophecy, Pyrrhic defeat theory. Pyrrhic defeat is the Battle has been lost before the war has even begun. That's the mindset. Self fulfillment is this negative thing of I say you are, therefore you will be. So think about how somebody pours into another person. You are worthless, you're dumb, you're crazy, all these negative things. And after a while, your mind, your body, your spirit can only take so much. And at some point, you begin to start internalizing this because you're constantly hearing it without any break, without anyone stepping in and saying, that's not true. That's not who you are. This is how you fight back. If you don't have those kinds of tools, it breaks you down. Well, in that, I call you all future master teachers because I am calling you to be exactly who I know you are. You are operating as a master teacher in the realm of a master teacher, and you are showing your students how to be engaged, actively thinking, critically thinking, solving problems, and being able to ask questions to get them to those solutions to solve those problems. So you all are already doing those things. I'm just calling out what I know you are, and you are living up to those expectations. And that's something that we're going to model with our semester of metacognition, Dr. Gallo and myself. And we are going to show you all with this activity of writing. None of us are perfect writers. I'm better than what I used to be, but there's always room to grow. Same thing with Dr. Gallo. You will never hear us say we are perfect writers because that doesn't exist. But we're going to work that way as though this is a learning journey and that each assignment we grow a little. We do a little more on the next assignment than we did the one before because we've learned, we've experienced. So we're going to take that self fulfillment prophecy mindset, that growth mindset, if you will, over fixed and say that you are a writer in progress. And you are going to learn how to become a comfortable, confident writer with the resources that you need at your fingertips. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have some hiccups because I still have hiccups. It just because I have a doctorate does not mean that I'm a perfect writer. I have to laugh at that like it's a really funny joke because it's the truth. It just means I work hard to get to this point. So we're going to work hard together. So I'm going to let you all know now in part of this. And I say in here that we're going to incrementally build up to completing an APA paper one assignment at a time. And I really mean that. We're going to work with Google Docs and Word. Those of you who are fluent in whichever format, I have both here for you. But I also want to call your attention to the University of Wisconsin. And they have citation and formatting resources right along with tutorials. When you click on this link, ta-da! University of Wisconsin Whitewater has all of this information right here. Printable handouts and tutorials, an example student paper, and then the templates right up here. Now we're going to go back to this because I want you all to see that the first one for the PowerPoints, 1, 2, and 3, are the first one are PowerPoints you can download. Those of you who are fluent in or you're getting more fluent and comfortable with Google Docs because it's a living document, that's right here. We're going to work with writing, writing academic writing refresher to help us to prepare prepare for the assignments that are due on the 17th. So, this class is going to help you to be successful. We're giving you the tools that you need to get there. And the great thing about it is, this video is going to live right here in the APA resources area. I will make sure to, when I do an announcement, to have it linked there so you can see all of the information and be able to cover. To go back and watch it at any time that you need. Um, so this is setting you up for success. And that's what we do here at Reach. And more specifically, that's the philosophy that Dr. Gallo and I live by. We're never going to put you in a situation where you cannot be successful. We only do what we do well. And things that we don't do well, we try to provide resources to be able to support. And we learn from those things. So think about, we're doing things that we do well because we practice them. We didn't start out doing great. Let me tell you that. That's a hot mess. But nonetheless, we do a lot of things. And right now, it looks like we do them so well. Barbara Jordan said it best. We do what we do well. And things that we don't do well, we don't do them at all. Well, growth mindset forces us to get outside of that mindset and says, even though we don't necessarily start off doing well because we're learning, that doesn't mean that we won't become better at it. So, like anything, you got to practice it. So now I'm going to show you down here these APA templates. This is the 5 paragraph outline. We're going to use this in our discussion today. And I apologize because this video is going to be a little lengthy, but I want to take my time to go over the information with you all, so that you're confident and comfortable when it's time to write your paper. Then, now these two down here are the templates for you to be able to write your reflection paper, and our usual suspect that we're waiting to show up on the scene, craft tracker. I haven't gotten my email. I haven't gotten anything yet to say, hey, this is ready. So we're putting a pin in it. But for all of my OCD friends who are just like me, you got to prepare. You don't want to get caught flat footed. Well, this will help you get there where you can have all of this information at a glance. So when you start writing, you will have your prompts ready and know how to do it. And now I have the second template. That's if you want one for your final reflection. You can use the 5 paragraph APA template for both assignments, your reflections, as well as your craft tracker and that final reflection. It's totally fine. I just happen to like how it gradually said that 5 to 7 sentence paragraph. That's where we're working towards. So now we're going to dive off into this thing. Let's look at, I'm going to click on the Google Docs, and you'll notice, well, first, for those of you who are Word proficient or PowerPoint proficient, if you click this down arrow, you'll see it'll show up down on the bottom. It's downloaded for you to be able to open. However, those of you who are like me, Google Docs has been your friend. We're going to look at this through Google Docs. Now, in this writing refresher, it's really it's going to be a process. So don't look for a perfect paper, because we're not looking for a perfect paper. It doesn't exist, just to be honest with you. Um, so as we talk about this growth mindset, you all remember from Reach 50 how LeBron says that you cannot be afraid to fail, because it's the only way that you're going to succeed all the time. And being who he is and how he's been successful, he would be one to know that. Um, so I'm gonna tell you, Miss Joyce over the summer said something that was so profound. It stuck with me. She said, "You know, sometimes you have to lose. You have to lose in order to win big, and it's true. You know, sometimes loss isn't really a loss. It's just an opportunity for you to get up and really learn and honestly to grow and to come into your own. So with that being said, this is an example of a paper. So now as you look at this, I want you to see how this is not really a very long paper. This is the introduction here in A. B is the first body paragraph. C is the second body paragraph. D is the third body paragraph, and then E is the conclusion. So it's not really a long paper. So as we look at this, you know, we see where the introduction is, that's an A. We see the conclusion is an E, as we talked about in the body paragraphs, that's B, C, and D. And now, of course, we talked about the thesis as being the central argument of an academic paper. We know it's not an idea or hypothesis that cannot be proven. That's not what a thesis is. It's our argument that we're making. And it does show up in the first paragraph. That's where it lives. So now we've got the three parts to this paper that we talked about: the introduction, your body paragraphs, your conclusion. Now, as we look at this, and I'm going to apologize in advance for my friends who get overstimulated with lots of graphic organizers or or visual aids. I'm going to talk you through this. So even though there's going to be a lot on the screen, it's not going to overwhelm you. Um, this is a video that was meant to be self-paced, but it had so much information that I felt it was so important for us to actually talk about it. And because there's so much stuff in it, it just makes it it makes it difficult. So some of us tend to walk away from this. Okay, so now we're talking about what information is used to create the introduction, the body, and the conclusion of a paper. So this is where we get to the meat of things. You have your thesis. That's the claim with reasons to back that claim. That's going to be in your introduction. Your reasons or ideas, that's going to be like your topic sentence for the body paragraphs. Remember, we have three body paragraphs. Then your evidence is what you want to use to support that, either through something you've read, um, through one of the resources in this class, through a conversation with a colleague, one of the websites. That's your evidence, and you can cite that. And then your thesis will show up again in your conclusion. So here we go. Now, I'm going to tell you there's going to be some numbers and some arrows that will show up here, but we're going to make this makes sense, if you will. And it is all color coded, which is something I really love. It pleases my OCD heart, if you will. So, the thesis, here's the thesis statement that's in the introduction. So, they did a sentence, they did two sentences, one to set up the thesis, and then the other to state the thesis statement. So you don't have to do that. But It's something they chose to do. So they said that animals have adapted or have changed over millions of years to help them survive. These adaptations can be found in body parts, body coverings, and behaviors. So those are the three adaptations that they're going to cover in this paper. Any of your 5 paragraph papers that you're going to write, craft tracker, and your reflections, you're going to have 3 topics that you will discuss in your body paragraphs right here. And those 3 topics will go right in here in your thesis statement. So for them, it's body parts, body coverings, and behaviors. So that's how we're going to approach this thing. Now, let's do this. So we're seeing introduction, where our thesis statement is. Then we're looking here, the 1, 2, and 3 reasons. Those are the reasons to claim, to back up the claim of our thesis. Now, here's the first body paragraph with the reason. That's what we call our topic sentence. Here's the second topic sentence in body paragraph 2. And then here we go, the third topic sentence in body paragraph 3. So now, next, we have something here. Oops, here we go, that we call our ideas. Now, the last thing in here is in pink. That's our evidence. And you see, they went in and they actually cited some references. Like you see, Cameron 2000, page 49. This is a direct quote. So you see, they have their open quotation marks here, closed quotation marks. You can do that in your paper. And feel free, without penalty, guys, feel free to experiment with this in your paper. It's I know Dr. Gallo and I are not looking for perfect papers. Feel free to cite. Feel free to use your perspective as well. That is something that is totally acceptable. Because a lot of these assignments are direct reflections and where you're going to tie in some evidence to back it up through research. So here we go. The pink for each of the body paragraphs is our evidence. And then last but not least is our conclusion. And all we're doing in our conclusion is restating the thesis. It's the same thing, just in a different way. So, what they say is, in conclusions, animals have adapted or changed their physical parts, body coverings, and behaviors over millions of years to help them survive and thrive. Voila, that is it. It's not extensively long. It's not a long paper, but it is effective in meeting the needs of the criteria. So now, we know when we go back to this, our thesis is our central claim for our academic paper. Now, we're going to go through this to where, yeah, it's repeated in the last. There is There we go. So now we have this 5 paragraph outline that's color coded, okay? So now this also lives, let me hit this. I'm going to come here and go to APA resources. Ta-da! Okay, we're going to scroll down. This also lives right here. We're also going to click on Google Docs for this. So it's going to pop open for us. Here we go. So now, for those of you who are like, wow, this is perfect, I want you to know, as you open this, to save it, click File, make a copy, And it'll ask you, because it'll say, outline. And you can go to the front of this and it'll say copy of. And it'll ask you where you would like to save it. I made a folder, so in here it's APA resources, but here it is my drive. You can just save it in my drive or you can create a folder for it. So that's how you can save these documents. Um, Now, for this particular assignment, let's go ahead and look at this and say, okay, since Craft Tracker, our problem child, has not shown up, it's late for school, but we are not going to worry about that one quite yet. What we're really going to focus on is our reflection paper one. So that paper has let's go here so I can show you all exactly what I mean with assignments. Because me talking about it, for those of you who are visual, you need to see it. Me talking about it is not going to help. Actually need to see what are the instructions. So I'm gonna tie that in for us to be able to do it. Now, let me make this a little bigger. Okay, so here are our directions for reflection one. We use the metacognition awareness inventory. And now, what we did was we tried to determine what are our strengths and what are our areas that we have room to grow. So, in the directions of this, it says write a 1 to 2 page paper reflection on the takeaways, realizations you are having about your own learning after doing the MAI. Explain in detail and cite any resources you choose to use from course content. So, do you agree that studying versus learning differ from one another? So now let's go back here. This is the PowerPoint. There is somewhere in here. Da-da-da-da. Yes. So we have the question. We want to borrow words from any question to make our thesis. So that's what we're going to do right here. Does studying and versus learning differ from one another? Well, we can turn that around and say studying versus learning differ from one another in 3 ways. And you list those 3 ways that you feel they differ from one another. And now these are your guiding questions that you do not have to use as your body topics, but these will guide how you discuss this. Where you're talking about Bloom's taxonomy, you include that in there. And for those of you who are in my class, I'm also going to release a video today about Bloom's with the PowerPoint so that you will be able to see how we use all of this together and how Bloom's helps us to be able to tap into the different types of knowledge and to be able to know how to apply that knowledge and also to be able to help our students. Once we know it, then we're better models and guides to help our students dive into that new form of learning too. So this is where we are. We turn the question around to come up with our thesis. So for me, studying versus learning, I agree totally that they are different from one another. So learning means you take the time to understand. You ask questions, open ended questions, and you take the time to be able to work through problem solving. That's what learning is. But studying is cramming. Um, you learn it for the moment and then it disappears. It causes anxiety. Whereas learning relieves you of the stress. You actually, when you are in a presence of mind of learning, you understand that make mistakes will be made, but you are realizing that there's so much to be learned even from the mistakes. So mistakes aren't failure. It's just a new way of learning, a new tool to help you to become a better version of yourself. So those are some of the ways in how I think about this. Now, let's go back. We're going to look at assignments. And we're going to go to Craft Tracker, okay? Same principle. Same principle. Craft Tracker for week 3. This one is develop individual learning goals for the semester using the MAI and revised Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so with that, now, same principle. You're writing about the MAI, and you're also using Bloom's taxonomy. So, those learning goals could be how you are applying exactly what you have. So, it's a few modifications. Let's go here and look at our outline. Here we go. This is our outline. So we're going to say, what, for that craft tracker, what are my learning goals for this semester using MAI and revised Bloom's taxonomy? So we're going to say my learning goals for this semester, are to um, take more time to plan, um, for using my knowledge for learning activities, take more time, analyze how well the strategies worked, and the last one, how, in what ways um, I have grown over the semester. So now, there we go. There we go. I can't spell. So this is me using Grammarly. I'm going to tell you all Grammarly's amazing. If you don't have it, go ahead and get it. There is a free version. It is amazing. It will really help you with your writing. I'm going to tell you, it was a game changer for me. I needed to get back in the swing of things, and it helped me change my entire writing style. It has me anticipating and seeing. I'm thinking of how not to be in passive voice, how to be active, taking away helping verbs. For those of you who are English, the ELA content and a reading content specialist, you know those helping verbs, and you think of how you can take that away and make it active. And you think about it in terms of Bloom's. Bloom's do not utilize helping verbs. Will have been, um, will be, everything's action. It went from being a noun to a complete action of something of who you are to blooms is now what you do. So that's one of the things that I think about with my writing. It really helps me to be a better version of myself. So now this is my color coded 5 paragraph outline. So now the first one is my learning goals. So this is my thesis statement. So I'm going to take the very first one, like in the PowerPoint, and I'm going to say plan, make more time to plan using my knowledge for learning. So that becomes the first thing where I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to, in being a, in being committed to the goal of a lifelong learner, I will slow down and um, plan for my own learning the way I do for my students. Now, how about that does not look right? There we go. So you literally are seeing how Grammarly is working with this. Grammarly is amazing, y'all. So now that's my sentence for my main idea. And it's telling me Grammarly is saying I don't need own if I have my. So that's really good. Now, this is how I would put this in. Literally, I'm taking right from here, analyze how well the strategies worked. Now, in this one, analyze is part of Bloom's. So, literally, you're using this. So, I will say Bloom's taxonomy. Pardon me, I cannot. I can't spell today, y'all. um, Indicates the importance of analyzing, analyzing, and evaluating um, our process for learning. Let's see. My commitment is to um, review how well my strategies worked um, after each learning activity. Here we go. So now there is my second sentence for paragraph 3. Now, we'll click on this and we'll see. We've got one more. Now, we need to fill in these sentences for the details. Once you fill those things in for this, and you can add in literally, you can add in some other lines. That becomes your paragraph. This literally is your paper. So I don't want you all to think, oh, here we go with Grammarly. It's telling me being a. There we go. I missed being in there. Um, but this is literally how you can draft your paper. And this is the craft tracker that we used for this. So now I'm going to save this thing. I'm going to do file and I'm going to do make a copy. I'm going to go to the front of this. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put craft tracker 3 outline. And I'm going to, instead of saving it here, I'm going to go back because it wants me to just drop it there. I have a folder for metacognition. Here we go. I'm going to drop it right in here. And I'm going to select, then make a copy. And here we go. This is how it's saved, literally. And so that's amazing. I've got this done. Now, I want you all to think about this for this assignment. Now, let's go back here and we're going to look at this. So I'm going to take this out right here and let's look at instead um, the reflection paper. Okay. So this is setting you up for success. So that's where we're going here. So remember, you're not a proficient writer yet, but you are on your way to being that. So now I'm going to do file and I'm going to make a copy. I'm going to come to, pardon me, I'm over here looking on this computer. Home. There we go. So now this is reflection one. And I'm not saving it here. I'm going back and I'm saving it in metacognition. Um, oh, goodness. Pardon me. My allergies are just acting up. Those of you who had me, you already know it's a hot mess. So here we go. Now, so this is where we're saying our thesis statement. We're coming back to this. Now, we've taken care of a problem child that hasn't shown up for the first day of school yet. So, our usual suspect. That's okay. That was our craft tracker. Now, I'm looking over here. So, I'm going to type right in here. Oh, my. That's way big. Let me do this. Oh, no. How about this? Okay, so this is our sentence that the assignment is asking us. Do you agree that learning and studying we differ from one another? So now that's our question, okay? Now we're going to take this question and we're going to turn it around. Those of you who are reading specialists, reading content, um, it's TTQA, turn the question around, of the learning and studying differ from one another because learning, and we can come up with this, and we talked about it before. Let's see. Um, learning and studying one another in three ways. Um, learning asks us to grow. Um, and mistakes are accepted. Um, studying only studying causes anxiety, short term um, memory loss because the things don't stay with you, and um, rises frustration frustrations. Okay. So that's literally what we have here. Now you can modify this and do something totally different. This is just an idea I wanted to be able to work out with you all. What is this thing about creating our thesis statement? So literally you can think about it and hammer something out and take from this. So Learning and studying differ from one another in three ways. Learning asks us to grow, and mistakes are accepted. Studying causes anxiety, short term memory loss, because the information only stays with you for a minute. It does not stay for a long time. And it causes frustration because failure is embedded in studying. If you don't make the grade because you studied, you feel like you failed, and it's part of that fixed mindset. But in growth mindset, when you use learning, you're actually applying the information. So that could also be a reason how they differ. Learning, you apply knowledge. It becomes like an on the job, hands on activity. That's where learning differs from studying. Studying is abstract, you cram. Learning is hands on and it's ongoing, it's realistic. So, those are some of the things that can help you to be able to do this. Now, I'm going to work on this document and I'm going to have this example document live in APA resources as well. So, you all will be able to look at this for the 5 paragraph outline for the reflection. And I'm going to put in here reflection one. And then let's go to this other one. And we're going to say this is craft tracker, okay? Week 3. So this is going to live there for you all to be able to see. How did I pull these things together? Those of you who need visuals, this is really going to be a game changer to help you all do this. And I know this has been a very lengthy video, but I wanted to set you all up for success. Dr. Gallo is of the same mind. And we're just excited to be able to do this. So now, with that being said, look for more information to drop in announcements. Those of you who are in Dr. Gallo's class, you will have an invite coming soon. I'm going to share it with him so that you all will be able to drop in to one of my tutorial sessions. We do tutoring tutorial sessions during our live class, but we'll actually be able to do a deep dive on Saturday, this Saturday. So if you have questions about this, we'll actually be able to address those questions and hands on. So it's going to be part of that learning, how learning is hands on and studying is cramming. And let's be real, a lot of us have gotten anxiety as young people from the pressures of having to study for tests that we just weren't equipped with the knowledge to be able to be successful because they were so focused on the content of the exam. They Our teachers were not able to give us the materials that we needed to be successful across the board. So that's how studying in one way differs in how it has created this culture of anxiety amongst us as adults, and those of you who really where anxiety is impacting, like you've become physically ill with these assignments, you truly are living this. So we want to take that pressure off. Know that this first assignment or even the last assignment is not expected to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. All we're asking is that you do the best that you can and be a better version of yourself each day, better than the day before. That's it. And we'll get there. So we'll learn. We're on a learning journey together, I promise. So take that deep breath, relax, and know that You've got this, and you've got some support. So know that I will be Zoom bombing a couple of times in the class. You'll probably see me on Tuesday since I don't have classes on next week, Tuesday. So I'll be able to see some of you then. But until next time, hopefully, I'll see some of you on Saturday. It is not mandatory, this is optional. So you drop in, you have questions, we extend learning and everything. And it's just another way for us to show you that, you've got this and we're here to support you any way we can. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. Have an amazing and fabulous week and take care. Bye.